Yeah, so as I mentioned in the other video, I'm rather tired from the ozone because of the multiple actions. Like, it's killing off a lot of stuff. Like, second day I did it, when I really used high dosage, I woke up in the morning around like 6 a.m. whatever to go to the bathroom or something, and I was like, oh my god, so much stuff is dying in my body. It was so intense. And yeah, so there's a lot of die off, and it's just really extreme. I was having actually some, like, herxing rage and stuff and die off yesterday. There's also a lot of immune support, a lot of immune activation, and a lot of detoxing. And I don't know what else is going on. There's a lot of stuff going on, so I'm rather tired. But I was just going to talk about some of the mental changes that I've noticed, because I've noticed a huge amount of mental changes. There's a lot of things that have always been sort of different about me, and I thought were like emotional problems of mine, like maybe because of my family or whatever. But just noticing what's going on with ozone, I'm not sure. I think maybe some of these could have been low growth hormone symptoms. I find myself being like suddenly a little more cautious about what I say to people or what I put online, which is funny because you all know I put like everything online, and so that's a change for me. And I find myself finding it really a lot easier to accept blame, or to say, oh, I screwed up, or usually that used to make me feel terrible, like I was gonna die, or like I was like having this like sinking awful feeling. But now I can just say it, like, yesterday, I'll do it for you guys now, yesterday some stuff happened and I didn't really handle it that well, and part of it had to do with Lyme, but part of it I just made some, I didn't really make the best choices, and kind of the day got a little bit screwed up for me, and I accidentally like hurt my arm because I was beating the floor with a towel saying fuck Lyme disease, and then I pulled my arm, and whatever. I probably could have had a much better day if I just kept control of myself, and something really bad happened here with the floor, and it stressed me out, and probably should have just gone upstairs and chilled out or something. So that was easier than it normally would have been. I am like, funny, my mom is noticing, she's like, Andrea, you're like sticking up for yourself a lot more easily, like if there's stuff that I need or stuff that and I'm like, yeah, it's just like suddenly very easy for me now. I'm having less postural or orthostatic hypertension or tachycardia, where I can stand up longer. It used to be like I couldn't stand up still very long, and I'm finding I can stand up, and then also if I stand up for a long time and I sit down, I don't have that like sinking, I'm dying feeling that you get with POTS usually if you stand up too long, where your body like goes into like terrible mode. And I am also I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I was mentioning just having a lot more ability to even think about what to do for Lyme treatment. And it's like, maybe if you've got Lyme, the first thing to do is to get a bunch of ozone in your body so you can think, and then you'll think about what else you're gonna do. Just to get the ozone in your brain, because then your brain gets more oxygenated. And a lot of us with Lyme don't have a lot of brain oxygen, and our brains are just kind of like really working on low power, and then it's really hard to decide what to do, because Lyme treatment is a complicated thing. And so I feel like I'm able to like conceive of it better and also carry it out more easily, where as I go through my day, I just find that I have more time. Like, I feel like I'm just like, oh well, I've done this treatment, and like I can like get in more stuff in the day, and I don't have to use so many to-do lists, because I feel like my brain can handle remembering what I'm doing. I used to just have like a to-do list all the day, all the time. Like anytime I've had to-do lists even before I got Lyme, just because it was hard for me to keep track of what I was doing, even for very basic things like, okay, I will bike home to my dorm, then I will eat, then I will do my homework. I had to like make a list to remind myself to do this stuff. And having a lot less OCD problems. I think a lot of the OCD had to do with brain infections, and I feel like some of my low growth hormone symptoms have changed quite a bit. With low growth hormone, there's a thing online called the Quality of Life Assessment for Adult Growth Hormone Deficiency, the qol-aghda, and if you read that, it's like, gosh, that's like everything that I thought was wrong with me, that was different about me ever since I was a teenager. And most people who've had fatigue for several years get low growth hormone, and it's kind of bad for it makes it hard to get over stuff, and my my theory is that it has to do somehow with brain infections and your, I don't know, growth hormones made in the pituitary or something. So I feel like the ozone ear insufflations are getting ozone into my brain, where my brain, some parts of my brain endocrine system might be working better. Hence the less problem with the, well, the POTS is probably a nervous system thing, but I just feel like certain things about the growth hormone thing, or you just feel like less than other people. You feel like you're not worth as much, and you there's something just wrong about you and lacking about you compared to other people, and you can't focus or stay on top of stuff, and everything's just hard and difficult, and you just feel like a failure as a person, I think would be the way to describe what it feels like having growth hormone, low growth hormone. It's just like, you're like, what is it about other people? Other people can do all this stuff I can't do, and I just feel like it's a struggle just to be a minimal human being. It's a huge struggle just to meet the minimum requirements as an adult, and you just feel kind of like impaired across the board, you know. And that's why I say with fatigue, it's hard to realize. Sometimes it's hard to notice because you get such broad spectrum impairment, because your brain, which is, you know, kind of what you use to be you, is lacking oxygen kind of across the board in all the important areas in the endocrine system in your brain and your prefrontal cortex, and I mean, everything is messed up. And so it's not like you're, you know, if you were just, everything stayed fine and high functioning, and just one thing slipped, you started like forgetting a bunch of stuff, but everything else was normal, or if you started, you know, whatever, then you'd be able to say like, gosh, something's going wrong. But when everything slips, you think it's you, because it just seems like across the board you're not much of a person, you know, and you're like, gosh, I don't know. And I think that's what's so difficult about it, is that everything slips with fatigue. Your motivation to get better slips, and your remembering who you are slips, and your ability to conceptualize what's happening, and I mean, just like, it's like somebody takes your entire past and future and your entire identity and just like turns the gray, you know, turns the color density down by 50%, or turns, you know, like turns the whatever, you know, people who use Photoshop tell me a better analogy, but and so it's just really hard to make sense of it while you're in it. And then, so luckily, you know, I feel like the ozone has been very weird for me, and I've actually been like crying quite a bit. Like, I'll be like cleaning my, I just said I was going to clean my room of all the stuff that I had while I was fatigued. I don't want to look at these things anymore. I don't want to remember that sort of, that version of myself that I really didn't like. And I just like broke down crying a whole lot yesterday, because I was like, I can't believe what I've been through, and it's so weird. Like, I'm getting kind of like realizing slowly what's happened, and it's really intense to realize that, you know, I had no idea how impaired I was, or how much I had lost, or whatever. My stomach is hurting so much. I've eaten a bunch of xylitol because I'm trying to use xylitol for my my insulin resistance issues. Anyway, so that's the stuff there. You know, it's funny. I'm just gonna observe, if you all have Lyme radar, you know what I'm talking about. It's sort of like gaydar, but for Lyme. You can see there's certain ways that I'll sigh every now and then that have a little bit of a Lyme feeling to it, and I am feeling like I've got something in my chest, or something holding me down. But on the other hand, and I seem tired. On the other hand, I feel like I'm not oppressed in the way that I am in a lot of my past videos. I don't have that kind of, there's something about me that's a little bit more on the side of the living now. So, but I don't seem hyper. There's a lot of videos where I seem really healthy, but I seem very hyper, or I seem very high-strung, you know, or it seems like I've got to like keep my energy up in order to avoid falling into something. But now it's like you can see I'm super tired right now, but I'm not. I don't need to like maintain this high electricity level to keep out of anything. Like I can just be tired and I still feel kind of healthy, or I still, you know. So anyway, let's see how this looks. I'm gonna watch this.